Yeah, all right. This is Jay from the Corpsepaint Show. Hello, Stewart.
Hello. How are you?
We got Stewart Copeland here with us. And, I'm holding in my hand one of my favorite CDs that you made with your excellent bandmates. And, of course, I'm referring to Mad for the Racket.
Absolutely.
Brian James.
I don't
And
Racket at all.
this is Stewart Copeland right here.
That one.
This is my Stewart Copeland right here. Wayne Kramer. Duff McKean.
Oh, of course. Yes. A great moment. You know, when you've had a career as checkered as mine, there's things drift in and out of the memory banks. But good old Wayne, yes.
Good old Wayne and Brian James and Duff McKean. What a super group. I just, I got this when it came out.
I heard a great joke from Duff that day. You want me to share it with you? Would you like to hear Duff's joke?
Yes, we would.
Well, he was telling me about, he was just telling me about, one of his band war stories where they were walking, they're on tour and they're down the beach and, they're walking and one of them kicks something in the sand. He picks up, it's like a lantern thing, and they're brushing the dust off it and a genie appears, and says, okay, well, look, there's four of you, but, okay, I'll give you four. You each get one wish. And Duff says, well, man, I always wanted a Lamborghini to be driving in south of poof, and Duff is in the south of France driving his Lamborghini, and the other guy, Slash says, I really always wanted to, poof, and he's whatever he wanted. And finally, the last one, it gets to the boss.
Yeah.
And he says, I want those son of the bitches back here right now. That's a short version. That's a short version of the story. I probably blew the punchline.
No, you didn't. No, that's cool. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, screw that other band. I like Mad for the Racket.
Yeah.
What a great release.
Right.
Hey, you know what else I'm holding in my hand is Strange Things Happen, the book, the paperback.
Yes.
And interesting, fun read. I like this book a lot, and just really been wrapping my head around it lately, and just real fun. And I think it's really cool because there's not too much in there. I don't know. When I read it, I didn't think there was too much in there about all the early years. I mean, it seems like Stewart Copeland now is more at peace, doing well, and I don't know, less claustrophobic, and maybe these are the real good years for you. But you tell me, am I right?
Well, yeah, I got a lot of flack for that, for not having enough police in the book. But I figured that I had made a movie about it. The whole experience had a camera in front of my face the whole time, and I had the movie. You can watch the movie. And Sting wrote his book, and Andy wrote his book. Two really good books.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of covered, so I told all the other stories. And the book began as kind of just a collection of war stories, dinner tales, weird stuff that happens when you've been in a rock band like that, the afterglow. Yeah. Strange stuff does happen.
Yes.
And this is mostly that. But I did have a little bit of police in there. But what I did have was the police reunion log,
right?
Which was that was an adventure all by itself.
Right, and very, very interesting because I appreciate the fact that you admit, the screw ups and the mess ups, and you come in and I don't know, you're 2 beats off from Sting, but right, you guys were a little rusty, I guess, and still getting used to playing together again.
Oh boy, did I get some flack for that!
Oh brother,
this is his own. I made the Peking Times with that one.
Well, let me ask you: was all the flack from Sting?
No. He and I both suffer from very short emotional endurance. I mean, neither of us can hold a temper for longer than 20 minutes.
All right.
So that blew over pretty quick as far as he. But that day was not good. But suddenly I noticed on my buddies telling me, "Hey, look, you're all over your high search on Google or whatever." Really?
Cool.
Really?
Cool.
And we were just that day leaving for the first show of the tour. The big reunion tour. We hadn't played together in 30 years or whatever. We'd been rehearsing and we played the first show in Vancouver. We played 3 nights there. This is it. We're getting in our jet today. Today we're a rock band again, getting in our band jet. But Stewart screwed the pooch by writing my little blog to my tiny little insignificant group of followers on my Italian. It was an Italian fan site that has, my little family, and I put down there my musings on the last show, which have been kind of a disaster. Okay, you have great gigs, you have not so great gigs, and this was a celebration of what can go wrong.
Yes. Look,
it's only music, for crying out loud. Nobody died. It was a great show. We burned the house down. But there was that moment when it was kind of funny. We laughed about it after the show, and I laughed about it in my blog, sharing it with my little folks at home. And then it hit Reuters. Drummer slags group. And geez. And there was some I thought it was funny. I wrote with love in my heart.
Of course.
But,
look,
I can't even. I get the cold shakes thinking of some of the amusing little turns of phrase that I applied with love in my heart to my bandmates, and no harm was intended. But geez. Anyhow, it all blew over.
Yeah, good. Look, here's the thing: as fans, that's what we want to read. That's what we want to hear. We want to know. We want to know that Stewart Copeland is human.
But I'm not.
Yes, you are. I'm afraid.
Unfortunately, yes, I am human.
Hey, all right. So I appreciate you talking to me on a day that some people consider historic, and we're revisiting the Reagan era. I don't know. That's how I'm thinking of it. But look, did you take this mini camera you had during the Reagan years and go film a bunch of hardcore bands in L.A. and in New York?
I did. I filmed every kind of band. I had my camera to my eye, and I shot my own band experience. And part of a band experience is being on tour with every other band. And I got the Ramones, I got the Clash, I got I got everybody. I've got a reel called Bands of the Cusp. The cusp between the 70s and the 80s. Yeah. The cusp between long hair and short hair.
Yes.
Cusp between peace and love, and God damn it, we're gonna burn your house. And
look,
the bands that kind of during that transition was kind of an interesting period in music, and I had my camera in my face that whole time.
Well, okay, so and a lot of hardcore bands, right? A lot of extreme punk and all of it, right?
Well, I never regarded any punk as that extreme because I knew them all. They're just kids looking for a good time, What do you mean by extreme?
Well, I guess
I think in America you had guys who were actually dangerous, but the London punks were just kids looking for kicks. They wore crazy hair. They like to freak people out. They like to upset the party and everything. But they're, punks are real sweethearts.
Well, look, is this real?
By the way, I don't know if your fans would be disappointed. So are heavy metal guys.
Yeah, you're right.
Some of those guys in heavy metal bands are the sweetest people, and a lot of them are moms and dads now.
Yes. Yes. So is this real in your shoebox up on one of those shelves behind you?
These shelves over here.
Yeah.
So what was your question?
Is this real of the cusp in a shoebox somewhere?
Yes, it is, but more importantly, it's on a hard drive over there.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, if I ever have an opportunity to buy you a coffee or something, if you put that on a link and can send it to me, I greatly appreciate it. Hey,
it's the copyright, it's the licensing nightmare from hell.
Oh, you're right.
Just to make my own movie, for my own, I had a lot of the other bands in my movie when I first cut it. I made I got all that super, made my own little movie about the police years, first person shooter, very different from a documentary, but I had all the other bands in it, but it was hell to get the rights to, licensing, the publishing company, oh God, it was monstrous.
Right. Yeah. I recall you saying a lot of that. You're right. Well, dang it. I mean, it'll just be for my private viewing. I promise.
They all say that.
Hey, okay, so I know that you've brought up a couple of times another drummer that you seem to admire and I admire, and that's Topper. And you've mentioned the Clash, and am I correct in interpreting what you've said, and that is that he was kind of the influence on your successful band, on your drummer?
It was probably actually Joe Strummer. But yes, Topper Headon did give me one clue. It's more like outright theft rather than influence. They had the clever idea. Well, you see, what was going on in London at that time is the punk rockers and the punk clubs were raging and blazing.
Yep.
But even punks got to chill sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as chill punk music. It just isn't, you know. So what they did for those chill moments is the DJs. I think it was Don Letts was famous for this cultural event. He started playing hostile reggae dub.
Yep.
Really dark, gnarly, revolutionary, just really skanking, mean, gnarly. But it was chill. It's slow, but it's still pissed off. You know, which was the important thing.
Yeah.
And so it was the Clash. You had the brilliant idea of saying, "Hey, that reggae stuff's kind of cool. Let's try actually play some." And Topper found out, as I also did in my room, that stuff is backwards. I'd already actually figured that out because I was, long story, but I'd already kind of was hip to reggae already in college. And I'd already figured out that it's a backwards version of how you play drums. It's just all wrong. It's just, you grow up playing drums backbeat and everything's wrong. And Topper figured it out manfully. And there was a track, ironically, called Police and Thieves.
Yes.
Ironic, I say, because ironically, the police came along and thieved that idea. So, hey, how about that reggae thing? And so, yes, that was something that we tipped a doff of the hat to Clash for that brilliant idea, which we stole from them, laughing in our hearts as we did so.
And they stole from Junior Marvin. So a tip of the hat to the origin, right?
Bien sûr, mon ami.
That's right. Now, look. Does this mean that the Police got their name from that song from Junior Marvin via The Clash?
No. We were already in competition by that time.
Okay. All right. Well, it was great. It was always great to hear and see Topper, and then you applying that white guy reggae, and and obviously now look at you.
I had a secret weapon.
Tell me.
A hidden advantage. I was born with a darabuka in my mouth. I grew up in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And my first memories were Cairo, Egypt, and then Beirut, Lebanon, surrounded by Arabic music. And fun fact, Arabic music has that same drop kick rhythm of reggae, where the emphasis is on the third beat of the bar, and you ignore one. But to 3, 4, 3, 4, and it has that same thing. So that stuff was in my genetic structure by the time I hit 22 years old in London, 1977. I already knew how to do that rhythm. It was already in there. So when I figured out the mechanics of how you apply that to a drum set, it was easy peasy.
Yes, well, you did it so well. And look, I love all the current stuff. And Oysterhead was super fun. And like I said, Mad for the Racket. I know that was a few years back. But do you want to talk about any current projects? What have you, shameless plug, anything? What do you got?
Well, I got nothing really to plug so much. I'm all fancy schmancy these days. My champagne is a little colder, I'm playing classical music, which makes me an actual musician.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered about that. I've always felt a little insecure about that, which drummers and singers always do. Drummers and singers have this kind of secret bond at opposite ends of the band jet, where we look at each other. We're not even sure if we really are musicians. And in the middle of the jet, there's like the guitarist and the bass player. They're like talking, they're F sharp minor and stuff. Are they talking about me, or they, and they speak in that weird language. And now that I'm a classical composer, I'm one of those guys. I could walk into the middle of the jet and talk to the guitarist, like say, G flat, you motherfucker. All right? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? I know what I'm talking. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
And so that's why I play this fancy classical music.
You're not.
Well, in its own way, in the classical world, you could describe it as heavy metal classical, because it's not classical at all, but it's 60 musicians on stage.
Yeah.
And with 60 guys, you can get very heavy.
Heavy.
And sort of my intention to take this magnificent instrument, the symphonic orchestra, and make it really pound.
Yeah, Mozart was heavy. Wagner was heavy. These were the heavy metal musicians, weren't they?
Wagner's heavy. Mozart is a little prissy in my, humble opinion. Really important. He's like the Beatles. Can't diss it. It is, it is absolutely museum quality. But Wagner was the heavy stuff.
But let's talk about drumming. Drumming is tribal, and I think that, I don't know, my prediction here, Stewart, and I'm probably wrong, is that these next years under the new president might be kind of like the Reagan years, and we have a little more, I don't know, extreme music flourishing. But, I like going to drum jams where people just bang on anything and everything, and it just makes me feel like my roots are, I don't know if it's caveman or it's Viking or if
Come up
it's...
here and do that.
Yeah.
This room here, let's have a little tour of the room here. This here, you got your drum set here. I got one drum set there.
Yeah.
And this other strange rig over here.
Yeah.
And you got the really big amps, and it's all plugged in, and it's all wired up. And so my buddies come over here.
Yeah.
And Neil Peart or
Taylor Hawkins or
Dog Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah.
And we have the drum circle from hell.
Yeah.
Right here. And you can see them on YouTube, by the way.
Right.
Okay, shameless plug, you say. Here's one.
Yes.
The Sacred Grove.
Yep.
And you can go to Neil Peart at the Sacred Grove, or Snoop Dogg at the Sacred Grove, or me at the Sacred Grove, and you'll find these videos there. They come over here and jam, and then I cut the jams up in the little videos, which I put up for all the children to enjoy.
Yes, indeed. Well, all those are fun with Snoop, and that was during his Snoop Lion period, which was so cool. It fit with you playing a little reggae along with him, and then of course Taylor.
Yeah, I thought I had a big scoop.
Man, it was cool.
I thought he was going to score big with
So-
that reggae thing.
So Matt Stone, is he a musician?
Yes, he is. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He plays little drums, little bass,
Yeah.
little guitar even. He's just fun to have around.
And I think you had Ginger Baker sitting in one of those chairs, right?
Right there. Ginger Baker was sitting right there,
God.
and I got 1 minute out of it.
Oh.
And 1 minute later,
Yeah.
the paramedics arrived, and they had him strapped in with stuff, and they wanted to drag him off in a ambulance, but he said, "Fuck off, cunt!" And so they didn't.
He's still going great. I mean,
He was not having a good day. He woke up with
Okay.
like a chest infection, and he had to go play a show that night. He was a little grumpy that day.
okay.
But
Okay.
got this unbelievable 1 minute out of it.
Now look, you
You should check it out. Ginger Baker at the Sacred Grove.
we're gonna see if we can.
Just examine what he's doing on the hi-hat. You could write a Juilliard thesis on just Mr. Baker's hi-hat.
We're watching it right now. Can you hear it?
I beg your pardon?
We're watching it right now. Can you hear it?
You're beginning to cut out now.
Okay. Yeah, we've got it pulled up. We've got it, the video pulled up here on the
Yeah,
screen.
I'm
So,
losing you, man.
Jedi, we lost.
In fact, you are now gone.
All right. Are we back? Are we back? Hello,
You're
Stewart. Okay. All right. What we did was we cut out for a second to show that Ginger Baker piece, and it took all the audio.
Okay.
But we're back. So we won't do that again and interrupt. But I did like seeing Ginger Baker at Sacred Grove and all the musicians you had. So it just looks like a great fun jam, and that's a cool YouTube channel. And hey, I just want to encourage you, if you want to get together with Brian James again, I think you guys make some great music together.
Yeah, we did way back in the day as well. Now he has kids. He refers to his band now as the Darned.
Right.
Although everybody, Rage Against the Machine, they have kids. They're nice suburban dads now. Still a little pissed off when they get on stage, but they're good fathers.
Right. We don't want any swearing, so we're the Darn.
Yeah.
And they were the Doomed when they had Lemmy. In fact, let me tell you my joke. Lemmy from Motorhead ask you a question. All right, that's all it was. Stewart,
Was that the punchline or the joke?
No, that was the punchline. That was the whole thing.
Man, that is some Zen there. That is some Zen Motorhead there.
Hey, I want to have you say thanks to your press person and your helpers who lined this up, man. They've been very nice and helpful and super nice in getting this all arranged, man.
Well, good. I'll pass that along.
Yes, and I just want to leave the door open. I'm hoping that maybe down the road we can talk again, just for any odd reason. It doesn't have to be a new score you've created or anything like that. And hey, I'll send you a link to this, and if you want to add it to your YouTube channel, I'd give a thumbs up.
Sure, all right. Send me that link.
Hey,
I'm not really in business. The fun thing is putting them up. I haven't really got my head around marketing and playing working the social media to get up a follower,ship or anything like that. It's just out there, folks, and a few people stumble on it and hopefully are beguiled for a little moment.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, you mentioned Vancouver, and I just have always heard this. It's whether it's, of course, Canadian bands, but then the Rolling Stones, other British groups, when you guys reformed. Is Vancouver the place to go when you're, I don't know, need a quiet practice area or the tour prep?
Well, when you've got band tension like we have, you need to be surrounded by Canadians.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful city. And
of course.
They have really good facilities there.
Good.
Really big rooms to work in. And it's a great city. Like I say, it's full of Canadians.
It's full of Canadians, and they're more chill than us down here, and maybe less in your face when the paparazzi come around, right?
Yeah.
And Italy, you talk so highly of Italy and outdoor gigs and outdoor shows. They are the best, aren't they?
They are. It's whole different use of their national culture. Their ancient Roman Colosseums. You can play in them.
Yes.
Their piazza. They do shows in all of their ancient stuff, and it's just a fun place to play. And Italians are so great. The food is so good. And I go over there. I have a little band called Gizmo. Who cares? It's just to go over an opportunity to play shows there and hang out in Italy.
Is it totally under the radar? You play small shows?
It's not under the radar in Italy. I'm huge in Italy because I go there.
Yeah.
I have a new philosophy that my next album, I'm going to decide where I want to be famous. Or where I like, my favorite skiing resort, Gstaad, Switzerland. And where do I like to go to the beach? Well, Bora Bora. So my next album will be Bora Bora of my dreams, Bora. And it's going to be bomb everywhere except in Bora Bora. It'll be a smash in Bora Bora. So that when I go to Bora Bora, I'm going to get that hotel upgrade.
Yeah.
I'm going to be met by the president of Bora Bora at the airport, who will personally escort me to my cabana. And, the other song, Gstaad, Gstaad, Gstaad.
Yeah.
When I go skiing in Gstaad, I will get the best table and the finest wines presented to me because I'll be huge in Gstaad.
Now, I don't even know, is that in Switzerland?
I think so.
Okay.
I've never actually been there. That won't stop me writing a song about it.
There's this annoying guy who keeps touring all the time. He's playing here next month named Stingy or Stingy or something like Stingo, I think you call him.
Oh, Stingo. No.
Yeah.
No, Sting. Why annoying?
No, I'm just kidding. He's always touring. That's the thing.
Well, Stingo is the real thing. And sometimes people don't see him like that because he really is so the real thing. He's a little strange, okay? He's an actual, plug to the universe creative genius.
Yeah.
And I know that because I've worked with that son of a bitch for 30 years. He's the real thing, And whenever you see what looks like his mystical stuff, it's real. He's really out there, and he lives music and lives to tour. And so that's what he does. That's why he'll be in your town next week and the week after that. Not because he loves your town, but because he lives to make music and do it.
I was just joking. We love Sting.
Don't you even walk in that path.
But I love the Racketeers and Mad for the Racket too.
That works too. Yeah.
Yeah, and good old Brian James and the Damned, and you know, hey, did you see their video? Don't you wish that we were dead?
No, I missed that video.
It is pretty funny, and you know, just kind of a conflict in the band, and where they all are now, and they're on this big 40-year anniversary tour, which is cool.
Who's the they in this case?
The Damned.
The Damned are. Oh, really? They got Rat back out of retirement. They got Captain Sensible.
It's Captain and Dave, and then all of the rest of the guys are replacements, but great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonder why they didn't get Brian and Rat.
Well, Brian and Rat, I guess they go do their own thing as.
There's probably another Damned out there called with those two guys. That's sort of the way it goes with those. Whoever would have thought that the punk bands would be legacy bands, but the wheel turns.
Yeah.
Inevitably.
Yeah. Hey, it's great to talk to you, Stewart. I really appreciate your time. Can I stay in touch with your people?
With people? Yes.
Yeah. and then maybe we'll do this again down the road. We appreciate you supporting the Corpsepaint Show. We try and not ask the questions you've been asked a million times before.
That's a challenge.
Yes, but also to celebrate some of that music maybe people aren't aware of, Mad for the Racket, and your cool book, Strange Things Happen, which is a great, fun read.
Well, thank you.
It's a pleasure, Stewart, and I'll stay in touch, man. I mean, all the best, and it's January 20th, past 12 noon, and it's
right.
It's a
brand new world.
It's a new world, and who knows what we'll see in music and from Stewart and from everything. But I feel your best years are in front of you, my friend.
Okay, well, thank you.
I will talk.
Stay curious.
You're very welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye now.
Bye now.